Was there a moment that you realized that you wanted to be a coach, like post playing career? It's like, hey, I could see myself doing something like this.
It's funny that you asked that. So I knew I wanted to be around sports. So I thought sports agent, something like that. And so when I played my last season of arena football, I didn't have a clue. And speaking of Rick Stock, still going back to that, he would always say, Willie, you're a smart guy. If you can do anything other than coaching, do it. And he would always say that. And I was like, why does he keep saying that? I never said I wanted to coach. Like, it was never something, my purview. So when I finished playing arena football, I was driving back to Tallahassee from Sioux City, Iowa. And I got a phone call from a buddy of mine who was a high school defensive coordinator. And he asked me if I wanted to coach, if I'd be willing to coach quarterbacks at the local high school. And the moment I stepped on that field, I knew right then that was my calling. So it wasn't until I actually started coaching that I realized that this is what God called me to do. Because so many of us, the game, it gives us more than we can ever imagine. I've traveled the world. I've done things I could never even fathom because of this game of football. And I've been able to impact communities and make a real difference because of it. And that's what we want our young people to understand. So I'm just blessed that I did find my calling and my purpose, and blessed to be able to have a level of success that people still want to see me do it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tranquilo Sports Talk. Here, as always, David, Andre, and we are joined by a very, very special guest, new FIU head coach, Willie Simmons. Welcome to the show.
Man, honored to be on.
Yeah, no, we're happy to have you. We kind of want to start right at the beginning. Your initial reaction to hearing, that you got the job, and then boom, jumping right in. Like, these last couple months have must be in a whirlwind. Talk a little bit about how these last couple months have been post that as well.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. The interview process was fast. When Scott Carr first reached out, he told me it was going to be a kind of a drawn out process. And then after the first interview, I received the next call that said, we're moving forward and you're a finalist. And so At that point, the anxiety level obviously went up.
Yeah.
And bought a last minute flight to come down to Miami and meet with Scott and then President Dr. Kenneth Jessel, and the chairman of the board, Roger Tovar. And so had an interview, was gonna fly back to Durham that same night, and got a call from the search firm that night and said, don't book your flight. And didn't say I had the job, but kind of gave me an idea that I was in the mix. And so that next morning, I laid around the hotel room till about 10 a.m., nervous, stomach all the way down to my feet. And then I finally got the call from Scott about 10:30 and offered me the job. And then he said, I need you to be able to meet the team at 11:30. So
wow, that's just like that, like quick.
Yeah, had to get dressed really quickly and come meet the team. But man, it was just an amazing day. I was overwhelmed with gratitude, humility. This has been a job I've had my eye on for a long time because I've always felt that it was a sleeping giant. And to have this opportunity to lead this great program, I couldn't be more thankful and blessed to be here in the 305. And it's been great so far. Just put a staff together for some phenomenal coaches that we were able to put together. great support staff. Was able to put a pretty good recruiting class together. According to who you asked, the #1 class in Conference USA
yeah.
for this cycle. And the reception has been truly amazing. The fan base, the alumni base, the students even has been tremendous. And so we're looking forward to this season and seeing everyone come out and support us here in Pitbull Stadium because we plan to do some amazing things.
Hell yeah. No, I mean, listen, as 2 lifelong FIU fans right here, we are extremely happy to have you here. And I kind of want to touch on some things that you mentioned, as well as like what type of culture are you looking to bring to this team? From all your past experience, like what are you trying to bring to FIU?
Well, I think the thing that I talk to the team about all the time, the word culture, and every program uses it. Every organization uses it. You want a strong culture. And there are many definitions as to what culture means. And to us, it's just simply the way a group of people do things. That's culture. And so for us, we say we want a culture of excellence. And FIU, the university, is excellent. We're a top 50 public institution. So the academic reputation of this place is strong. The alumni base, what Panthers are out doing globally is excellent. And we want our football team to mirror that. And so we have a saying, the way we do anything is the way we do everything. And so if we want to be excellent on the field, we have to be excellent off the field, in the classroom, in the community, how we go about our day-to-day operations. And so hopefully when people see this football team, they see a close-knit group of individuals that truly love one another, that's a true family, and that everything we do is centered around that word excellence.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we got the spring game coming up. When this drops, it's going to be the next day, so I want to see a lot of people out there. But that's awesome. It's going to be the first glance that people are going to be able to see outside of all the stuff you guys have been doing at the park and different stuff like that, and engaging with the community, which has been awesome.
No question. They definitely want to bring the football team out to the community, and so our 2 scrimmages going out, one to Bunch Park up in Miami Gardens, and then to Demps Park down in Goulds. For us, it was very important to get the community behind us. And the reception has been amazing. And again, hopefully those same people will come to Pitbull Stadium and bring a friend.
Yeah,
exactly. So he brought up the spring game. What's your thoughts of how the team looks at this point? I know it's still early on, but now is where things really start to ramp up.
Yeah, I think we've had a really productive spring. Obviously for us, and I told the coaches this when we first started. I'm more interested in seeing our culture come together than I am how well we play football, if that makes any sense. We're going to have good schemes on offense, on defense, and the special teams. But schemes mean nothing if the players aren't bought into who we are. And so this spring really has been more about defining our culture, reinforcing what our core values and beliefs are, and make sure that everyone within the organization, lives that day by day. And so the guys are really, really responding well to it. They're high energy every day, which is very important. They're really growing closer to each other as a team, which is critical to our success. And they're having fun again. And that's the biggest thing that, the feedback that I've gotten from the players so far is that they're having fun playing football again. And awesome. This is a tough game. It really, the business side of athletics is really taking football to a different level. And a lot of guys aren't playing for the same reasons they started playing when they were younger. And so our job is to bring that back and make us understand that this is still a game. There are a lot of stakes involved, and people lose their jobs because of it, and lack of success at times. But we don't want that to be the focus. Again, we focus on excellence and not success. And excellence for us is loving what you do, having true purpose and passion, and our guys are slowly starting to understand that. So I'm excited about the direction of this team, and I can't wait to see how it all comes together come August.
Oh yeah, love that. You also got a lot of leaders on this team. Keon coming back was a huge win. I think, as fans, we're excited to see him back. How's it been working with him, and how have you seen him mature as a leader in the locker room? Yeah,
Keon is our unquestioned leader. And whenever you're the quarterback, you wear that on your shoulder every day. And so, we've had a lot of talks about it. I was a quarterback in college. His position coach and OC, Nick Coleman, was a quarterback in college. And so we both understand what it means to be the face of the program. And that's taking a lot of credit when you don't deserve it. It's also taking a lot of blame when you don't deserve it. And he embraces that challenge, and he's been really good with the guys. I mean, all the players, they love lights, and he's a local guy. He's from the 305, high school legend here. And so that was really one of the biggest selling points when I got here. Obviously, he was in the transfer portal to get him to come back was, there aren't many places, if any place in the country, where you're going to be the face of a program in your home city. Right? And so for Lights to embrace that and the responsibility that comes along with it, we're really excited to see how his game continues to progress. But he's a talented young man, very smart, anticipates throws well. And I think with the receivers and the running backs and skill guys we put around him, he's gonna be able to have a really big year.
Oh yeah, excited.
Yep. One of the things you mentioned that obviously he is one of those like homegrown talents from 305. How important is that? When you're coming down here and you immediately hit the recruiting trail to like make sure those guys are staying down here.
Yeah, it's critical for our success. I think it goes without saying. Everyone knows how rich and fertile these grounds are for high school recruiting, and so everyone in the country recruits.
That's in the country.
Miami-Dade, and so when you go into a school, you're going to see schools from the southeast, from the northeast, from the Midwest, from the far west, even the northwest that are down here recruiting. And so it's great for us because the biggest thing that it does is that it saves our budget. Because we don't have to get on a plane and fly to different parts of the country. When we want to host prospective student athletes on visits, official visits, we don't have to pay for their parents to get on a plane and come down. They get in their car and they drive 30 minutes up the road and they're right here on campus. And so that allows us to get a lot of prospective student athletes on campus. We've had a ton of great players come through this spring at our junior days and really see this place, because believe it or not, FIU we still have to brand ourselves, even though we're right here in Miami. And so for these guys to get here and see the facilities, they're really impressed when they come. And that's a huge part of recruiting for us. So we understand to grow this program, you got to have players. And I like to think that I'm a pretty good coach, but I'm a much better coach when we have really good players. And so to keep our local talent here is critical. And that's why you look at my coaching staff, 5 of the coaches on this 10-person coaching staff are from right here in Miami. They understand the high school coaches. They've been high school coaches. They know the 7-on-7 coaches. They're in with the families, all the things that it takes to recruit young men. And that's why it was important to be able to bring a Frank Ponce, a Benedict Hippolyte, to keep Anthony Gator, Edwin Patta, and Jelani Barasa. And so to have those guys on the staff, along with our support staff, I think will go a long way in helping us continue to keep our best talent here in the city.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I was pumped when Gator actually came by right before he got here. He's like, I got to get on. So we're going to have Gator on for sure.
Of course.
But that was awesome that you guys kept him around. I mean, he's amazing. So that's huge.
Bringing in a guy like Frank, too, was a huge hire.
I told him when I hired him, I said, you're a rock star. Because that was the one name outside of Gator, obviously, who played here that I kept getting calls about. Frank Ponce. And of course, I knew of Coach. And when I talked to him, I was shocked that he was even interested in the job. He'd been a coordinator for a long time. We didn't have a coordinator position open at the time. But just to be able to come back home and to be in his backyard, was an opportunity for him that was too good to pass up. And we've been extremely blessed to have Frank here. He's an amazing coach, a phenomenal human being. And again, he's a legend. He's a rock star. So everywhere I go with him, man, I'm like, who's the head coach, me or you? But no, just a humble staff, a staff that loves to come to work every day. And I think that's important because when you're in this profession long enough, you realize that that's not always the case. And so the fact that these guys really enjoy being around one another, the players see that, I think that's going to lead to a level of success that Panther Nation really wants to see.
Absolutely. You talk about Panther Nation, right? The big alumni organization out here, passionate alumni. What would be your message to fans, alumni out there to get people to buy into not only the culture you're building, but the culture of FIU as a whole and get people to come to the games? Well,
I think the biggest message is that, and I think President Nunez said it today, we have to show our support for FIU and FIU athletics, in action, in deed, not just words, because again, we hear all the time how proud Panthers are. We see it with our own eyes. That's the one thing that I've been just amazed by. Being a guy from North Florida, I didn't know how strong the FIU name and brand was until I got here. And so everywhere we go, if we're at a restaurant, the owner or the manager will come out and say, hey, I'm an FIU grad. We go to an amusement park or to Topgolf or wherever we take the recruits. Everyone who comes out, they're an FIU grad. And so the proud alum are here. they're spread all throughout this city and throughout, South Florida. And so let's show how proud we are, because what bigger way, and this is why football is so huge, sports in general, is because that's instant bragging rights. You get to show your school pride on Monday morning when your football team just won,
Yep.
or when your basketball team just won a big game or beat your rival. And that's what we have the ability to do. So, if you want to wear that FIU badge proud, if you want to drive down, the turnpike with that FIU nameplate that we just saw today, support your football program, support your basketball team, support all of our student athletes, because we are the front porch of the university. We don't feel like we're more important than any other aspect, but oftentimes it's sports that opens the window to the university. And we're a top 50 school that's continuing to climb the ranks. And so us playing on national television will maybe cause a student that's in the northeastern region of the United States to say, you know what, FIU, let me take a deeper look. Because they just saw us win a big football game on national television, and they saw our school pride, and they like our colors. They love the Vice uniforms, and those are all the things that sports is able to provide. So, my message to Panther Nation is just support these students. They deserve it. Everything we do is for them. It's not about me. It's not about the coaches. It's about these student athletes, because they represent FIU. They put their lives on the line literally every day for this institution, and we want to make sure that our Panthers support them.
Amen to that. I think we've been around FIU football since day one, and seeing it, I think it's had its ebbs and flows, as you know, and I think people want to buy into it, right? They're waiting for that moment, and obviously when there's a lot of change wherever you are, I think it's going to be harder, right? It doesn't matter if you're in business, in sports, education, right? If there's a lot of change, it's hard to buy into something because it's something new all the time.
Right.
So instilling, I think, kind of a foundation, right, I think is what people want, and seeing that kind of take off. There's a lot of hype. I don't know about you, but it feels different.
Yeah. No, it does. It does. And one of the points you say in terms of like visibility and people seeing us and being able to see the work that's being put in. You look at the schedule this year, and there's a couple big circle games on there. Announced today is the home opener, which I won't say the name because you said you can't say the name. And then we got Penn State.
You can say it. I won't say it. But you can say
it's Bethune-Cookman. We're kicking off with Bethune-Cookman. Willie's got some history with them, so he's not going to say their name. But then we've got Penn State. Obviously, that's a huge brand, huge program that a lot of eyes are going to be on us. Mm-hmm. And then even like the games in our conference play when we're playing during the week. I kind of want to get your thoughts on that as well, in terms of, I know it's probably hard that you're playing Tuesday, Wednesday, but the eyes that you're getting from people that are not from the city and like just nationally, that's huge for a program like us.
Yeah, no question about it. The brand exposure, you can't beat it. And so to be able to play on national television, ESPN, even though it's on a Tuesday night or Wednesday night, you got people sitting in front of their TVs, eating dinner, kind of relaxing, and you're just searching for something to do, or, sports fans just flipping through the channels, and you see a football game on. Yeah. And you're like, oh, wow, it's a football game. And it's FIU versus another Conference USA opponent. And you watch it because it's the only game on, right? And so once you see it, you see an exciting brand of football, you learn a lot about a school that maybe you didn't know much about, and that's what this opportunity gives us. And so we're very excited to be able to play those midweek games. I know it puts a little stress on our student athletes at times to have to miss class, during the week. But the university has embraced that. And again, I commend our leadership, for embracing that, because we all understand that that's a part of our platform, But again, I'm extremely excited about the schedule. Like you said, some huge games, some games that will really give us a chance to show the world what we're made of. And our football team is really excited about taking the trip up to Happy Valley and going up to Stores, Connecticut, and luckily early enough in the year where it's not freezing cold. Both places, because again, you don't want to play in Happy Valley nor in Stores in late October, November. So the fact that we're playing them in September and early October it really makes me feel good, because I hate cold weather too. But again, it's a great schedule. Even our home slate, 6 home games. And again, I look forward to establishing a great foundation here. And when I left Florida A&M in 2023, we had the nation's second longest home win streak at the FCS level. And that's the type of tradition that we plan to start here. And so the game day atmosphere, environment will go a long way in helping that. So Panther Nation, come out, support. Let's make Pitbull Stadium one of the toughest places to play, not only in our conference, but in the country.
100%. And one of those home games is a rivalry game that they're coming back to our place. we're going to need you to bring that trophy home.
No
in
question.
That FAU game, Shula Bowl, we need that trophy. There's a bit of a streak, so
Oh, yeah.
you alluded to it earlier. We got to get that trophy back.
No question about it. So they become the new school that I won't say the name.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So but that's got to become the tradition. We don't say the name of our rivals, but no, again, like you said, that Shula Bowl trophy, that Shula trophy needs to come back to Pitbull Stadium where it rightfully belongs, and we need to keep it here.
Yeah.
And then that's something that our team will definitely understand. Obviously, it's not the first game, so we're not going to put all our eggs in that basket. Yeah. We have business to take care of before then. But again, once that week comes, trust me, we'll be dialed in. You won't need much motivation for that one.
Hell yeah. So we've been talking obviously a lot about FIU and the team. I kind of want to talk a little bit about you and your experience. I'm going to hype you up right here because you've probably heard it in all, they said it again today at the event, but 9 years as a FIU as a head coach, 9 winning seasons, 8 of those winning seasons, 9+ wins, champion, Coach of the Year award winner. What has that experience been like? And then, what are things that you've learned along the way that are main points that, outside of the culture and stuff that you've, brought to FIU or you're planning to?
Well, I've been extremely blessed throughout my coaching career. One, to be around some phenomenal coaches. Again, I get a lot of the credit, but I haven't called one play of defense in my head coach career. I've called all the offensive plays, but I haven't called any defensive plays. So the guys that have coordinated our defenses, our special teams coordinators, my assistant coaches, they've done an amazing job of developing our players, recruiting, future talent. The fact that, I have 7 guys that I've coached that are playing in the National Football League right now, again, is a testament to what we've been able to do from a developmental standpoint. And so for me, I think that's kind of been that's been the thing that I'm most proud of, is that, in this era of NIL and transfer portal, instant gratification, I still pride myself on being a developmental coach. When we sign a young man, we're committed to developing that young man, from the time he steps foot on campus to the time he leaves. And that's not just as a football player, that's as a student, that's as a man of God, that's as a community advocate. That's just someone who's going to really go out and make a difference in this world. And so that's really been the foundation of our program since day one. Football is a byproduct of doing things the right way, success in football, rather. So I've always tried to take that approach. Excellence, again, is something that I truly believe in. And I don't think it's something that you can just do sometimes.
Right.
To truly be excellent, you have to commit yourself to doing it all the time. And that's what I've tried to give to our players. And so, again, my win-loss record, the Coach of the Year awards, all those things, they're nice, obviously. But when it's all said and done, and they finally lay me down to rest, I hope they talk more about my impact on young people, more so than how many games we won.
It's an awesome perspective to have.
Yeah, I agree. And he brings up, obviously, the success that you've had, but who's been an inspiration to you as a head coach? Like, who have you, I guess, looked at as a mentor and piggyback a lot of what they've been able to achieve in their career and utilize it towards yourself?
Yeah, I've tried to learn from every coach that I've ever been blessed to be under. It starts all the way back to my middle school days. Coach Carlton Wright, God rest his soul, was my really first coach of organized football, and just the disciplinarian that he was. Growing up in rural Quincy, Florida, one of the most impoverished places, a place that not many people, quote unquote, make it out. To see how he raised us as young men, I really try to carry that to this day. Now, his methods were old school. I couldn't dare do what he did to us. But, we all, whoever played for him, we appreciate the man that he was and what he meant to us. And then when I got to high school, Coach Andy Gay, was a guy who really allowed us to be us. And that was the one thing I could say about Coach. He didn't try to conform us. He didn't try to make us be something that we're not. He was perfectly fine with us being jovial and playful and because he knew that when it was time to play, we were going to play. We had one of the best seasons in school history, during my senior year in 1998. And then I was fortunate enough to play for Tommy Bowden, a huge man of faith, obviously the son of legendary Coach Bobby Bowden. Mm-hmm. And so just seeing how he was about his faith and not being afraid to proclaim it publicly was something that I really took with me. And then was able to go work, and on that staff, you had Dabo Sweeney, you had Billy Napier, You had some guys that are now head coaches that are doing extremely well. And so I really learned from all those guys. And then was able to go coach for Rick Stockstill, who recruited me out of high school to Clemson. When you look up the definition of players coach, you're going to see a picture of Rick Stockstill. He's the ultimate players coach. And just seeing the way that we as players love him, even to this day, that really resonated with me as the type of relationship you want to have with your team. And then Jay Hobson, again, so I've just been, all those guys are inspirations to me. Like they're all mentors. They're all people that I still talk to this day. And then even the fellow coaches that I have now, my peers, we all, learn from one another. And I joke with my staff and tell them that the head coaching seat is really a lonely seat. It really is. Nobody wants to go eat lunch with you. Nobody wants to go hang out with you, because it's just one of those type of deals. And so all your friends are head coaches. So we kind of call each other and check in with each other. But again, I'm a person that believes in learning. I was raised by an educator. I'm married to an educator. And so I just believe in constant learning. And so I learn every day from everyone in that room, not just my coordinators. I learn from my grad assistants. I learn from my quality control coaches. I learned from my video coordinator, and I think all those things that I've learned over the years, has really shaped and molded my coaching philosophy and made me the man I am today. So hopefully I can continue to be an influence to others, much as those gentlemen have been a great influence to me.
Was there a moment that you realized that you wanted to be a coach, like post playing career? It's like, hey, I could see myself doing something like this.
It's funny that you asked that. Speaking of Rick Stockstill, so he recruited me out of high school to Clemson, was there with me, and I was always, I guess you would be considered a smart guy, right? Made good grades in high school, was a quarterback, so really always understood the game. But I was going to be an engineer. My uncle's an engineer, retired engineer. My aunt's a retired engineer. My mom was a math teacher, but math whiz. And I was also really good at math. So in my mind, I was going to be an engineer. But once I got to college and realized they don't have much of a social life, I said, nope, can't do that. And so I switched to marketing and got my degree in marketing. So I knew I wanted to be around sports. So I thought sports agent, something like that. And so when I played my last season of arena football, I didn't have a clue. And speaking of Rick Stockstill, going back to that, he would always say, Willie, you're a smart guy. If you can do anything other than coaching, do it. And he would always say that. And I was like, why does he keep saying that? I never said I wanted to coach. Like, it was never something, my purview. So when I finished playing arena football, I was driving back to Tallahassee from Sioux City, Iowa. And I got a phone call from a buddy of mine who was a high school defensive coordinator. And he asked me if I wanted to coach, if I'd be willing to coach quarterbacks at the local high school. It was late July. Season was about to start. They needed someone quickly. And I said, well, yeah, I'll do it to kill time, to figure out what I want to do. I had some insurance sales interviews lined up. I had some pharmaceutical interviews lined up. So that was just going to kill time until I went and worked for Pfizer or New York Life or someone like that. And the moment I stepped on that field, I knew right then that was my calling. So it wasn't until I actually started coaching that I realized that this is what God called me to do. Just the impact that I had on the young men, the relationships that we were able to build that still extends to this day, it really showed me what my purpose is here, and that's to really develop these young guys and help them accomplish their goals in life. Because so many of us, the game, it gives us more than we can ever imagine. I've traveled the world. I've done things I could never even fathom because of this game of football. And I've been able to impact communities and make a real difference because of it. And that's what we want our young people to understand. So I'm just blessed that I did find my calling and my purpose, and blessed to be able to have a level of success that people still want to see me do it.
That's an unreal story. That's awesome.
Yeah. And listen, we're happy to have you. We're excited to have you here. And through this conversation, like learning more about you, like I am now more excited. I didn't think I could be more excited about the season, but now I am. So one last thing before we let you go, I want to talk a little bit about, obviously now living in Miami. Talk a little bit about Miami and maybe some things that, are you addicted to Cuban food yet? Have you had a chance of that yet? But, some things about Miami.
I'm definitely addicted to Caribbean food.
Okay.
All Caribbean food. But again, I can't say enough about this place.
Yeah.
It's what can't you do in Miami? So just the people, the culture, the food, the music, the sporting events. I mean, I was able to go to a NASCAR event last weekend. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to going to attend the Miami Open.
Nice.
Here pretty soon. Again, just the fact that you can do so many things in small confined area. But I'm a people person, and so for me, it's about the people and just the relationships that I've been able to build with the FIU community, even the local Miami community has been amazing. So just looking forward to the family coming down. They're still in Durham. The kids are finishing up school, and so they'll be down in June to get established. But just looking forward to exposing them. We have little kids. We got older kids too, but the 3 little kids will be here, and just to expose them to this culture. And I look forward to hopefully them learning Spanish, because at 44 I'm done. my brain cannot process it, and so it's one of the things that I really regret, that I just didn't take it more serious. When I was in high school, took 2 years of the high school, 2 years of college. And all I know is me llamo Willie. That's about all I know. And but again, looking forward to our kids, and just embracing this culture and learning different, ethnicities and languages, and just expanding their horizons. Again, because of what this game, this sport, this opportunity allows them to do. So, but again, I can't say enough about this place, man. It's amazing. It's a magical place. And being from North Florida, we saw it kind of as this distant place that you only go to on special occasions. But just to be living here now, it really is a blessing to call myself a Miamian.
Awesome. Well, I got another Spanish word for you, tranquilo. So you have to stay tranquilo.
I can't roll my
R's.
Man.
Well, Coach, thank you for being here. Appreciate you having us. And everybody, spring game is, when you watch this, 2 days from now. So please go, and then let's pack the cage this year. Coach is doing some amazing things. And these student athletes, they deserve it. So let's go out there and pack Pitbull Stadium.
Oh, no question about it. As always, falls up.
Falls up.